Hey everybody, this is part of our full-length primetime podcast. You can check it out on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, YouTube, plenty more. I hope you enjoy.
But Brandon, let's move on to a team that might be the exact opposite number-wise than Boston College, where the defense was god-awful. And the offense was pretty good, middle of the pack. Better than the offense we had just talked about with the Boston College Eagles, and that's the Syracuse Orange. And if you're on YouTube, welcome into Syracuse fans from around the world. This is your preview for this year for our ACC Atlantic podcast. And Brandon, with this one, I want to start with the schedule, something we usually don't do because I was looking at Syracuse's schedule for this year. Check out these games. At LSU, at Miami, at Florida State, at Louisville. Oh, wait, you got to play Clemson? Oh, we'll give you that one at home. This, to me, looking at these schedules that I've looked at coming in for this podcast, this could be the toughest schedule of an ACC team. Could be the toughest one. Not only do you have to play the top three dogs in Louisville, Florida State, and Clemson, 2 are on the road. You got to play Miami, which is going to be improved this year, on the road. And then you got to go ahead and play LSU on the road. This could be a death sentence. I don't know if this team can get past this schedule.
I'll tell you what, I don't think I'd want to play them. I don't think I'd want to play those games on the road at all of those different locations. But here's the thing. Do they have a healthy quarterback?
That's a big question.
If they do, they might be okay. Eric Dungey, a pretty good season last year. You take a look at his numbers, and he had close to 2,700 total yards through the air, and then 15 touchdowns through the air, 7 interceptions. He added another 6 touchdowns on the ground with nearly 300 yards. I think that this guy, if he stays healthy, could do some really good things for Syracuse. But that's the big question, is he going to stay healthy? Now, his dad said he's feeling good. His dad said he's healthy, and he has been healthy for spring practice and for the spring game and everything like that, and that's a great sign. But the big question is going to be, how long can he stay healthy for? Is it a full season? Does he have a full season in him? And if he does, Syracuse is definitely going to jump from the bottom of the Atlantic to the middle of the Atlantic. I can guarantee you that. If he stays healthy, they end up in the middle of the Atlantic Conference. And the reason being is because he had almost 2,700 yards in the 15 scores. He didn't even play the last 4 games. They lost every single one of those games.
And they weren't even, Pittsburgh, I guess, 76-61, you can say is close, but really none of them were close.
I mean, you give them 2 more wins, they're at 6. They still would have been at the bottom, but I think that if he's healthy through the entire year, they could see themselves make a bit of a jump. But here's one problem. Here's one problem that I'm seeing is they're losing. Well, they lost their number 1 receiver. They lost him to the NFL, Amba Eratawo, and they've got Irvin Phillips, who I think is going to now fill in as that number 1 receiver, who last year, 90 catches, 822 yards, 6 touchdowns. But that's the big thing. You lose a big guy, you've got another guy that steps in, but the health of the quarterback is the number 1. And Ricky, you went through that schedule, that road schedule. That is daunting. That is daunting. If you can win half of those games, you've won.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't think that they'll win. I'll be honest. If they lose every single one of those games, the LSU, Miami, Louisville, Florida State, and Clemson, wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised. I mean, you look at Clemson and Louisville, 2 games that Dungey did play for. We had Clemson, wasn't really that close. And then the Louisville game, Louisville ran you out of your stadium, and Lamar Action Jackson had his Heisman moment where he hurdled the defender. Basically won the Heisman week 2 of the season in my mind. I took that picture.
I think he won the Heisman for you about preseason week 2.
Not preseason, but regular season week 2. He won the Heisman for me. That to me, best athlete, best athletic moment. Clemson, on the other hand, that was the game he got hurt, 54-0. Real close game. Florida State, of course, he didn't play in that one. We really can't tell you what he would have done, but that game wasn't close also. So coming into this year, I'm not going to give you those 3 games. I'm not going to say, well, Syracuse is going to get the upset. Now, Miami, they're an interesting one because in year 2 of Coach Rick, how are they going to do? I still like them over Syracuse. And then LSU with Ed Orgeron, year number 2. Yeah, they don't have Leonard Fournette, but that is a good LSU team. And I just don't think that right now I can't give Syracuse any of those wins, which kind of makes it hard because I look at what they are doing. And last year for Coach Babers, it was a pretty solid year for year 1 of a coach. And you've looked at every other job he's been with. Eastern Illinois, 5 more wins that second season. Bowling Green, 2 more years that next season.
2 more wins.
Yeah, 2 more wins. I look at this schedule and I say, yeah, you achieved that 4-8 mark, but with these 5 games, it's going to be hard to get to that 6-win mark. And the thing that they need to do is game number 1, game number 2, game number 3, you are very lucky that it is Central Connecticut State, who cares, Mid-Tennessee, and Central Michigan, because those are
and
3
Mid-Tennessee,
games.
we're not talking basketball
Yeah,
here.
we're not talking basketball. Those are 3 games that you should be able to win, get that offense going, hopefully hit your stride for week 4 so that you can maybe give LSU a game and not have it be a blowout in week 4. But if you can win those 3, then all you have to do is between Boston College, Wake Forest, Pitt, and NC State, you just got to win 3 of 4 of those games, which might be a feat as well. However, some of those games, and that Pitt game being the example, Dungey didn't play for, so we don't know what will happen if he actually plays this year when Pitt comes to town.
You know, I think that we're talking a lot about offense here and what they're going to be able to do, but I think we also have to take a look at defense, and they are, they're not dead last, but they are about
Not
7
good.
spots off of being dead last.
Not good.
And that's the issue. I mean, I think we're focusing on, so far we focused on the strong point of Syracuse's game, but we haven't talked about their defense.
The thing
and their
defensively,
defense, but take a look at these points. Take a look at those points being scored. You know,
And that's what I was
51
gonna
nothing,
say.
54 nothing. They're not scoring points,
38
which doesn't help. You're not going to win any game, but that many points giving up, not good.
And that's what I was going to say. I mean, when you're ranked 120th in college football, giving up 38-5, that defense couldn't stop a nosebleed last year. And if this offense is going to have any chance to win games, if Eric Dungey is going to have any chance to win games, this defense has to be better.
Oh, he needs the defense behind him.
Has to be better. And, I mean, with Syracuse, I mean, on the other hand, you look at some of the games, I'm just going to look in the Atlantic. You've got 2 of them in Clemson and Louisville. Those are high-flying offenses. So just to say, oh, yeah, we want some improvement from the defense, that might not even be enough this year for them. Just saying, oh, we want a little bit of an improved defense might not be enough. That's why those 3 Atlantic opponents of Clemson, Florida State, and Louisville, I'm sorry, Orange fans, I'm just throwing those out the window. And I am focusing on NC State. I'm focusing on Pitt. I'm focusing on Wake Forest. Wake Forest is a team that I think that they can get the win over because I know we're going to talk about them later, but that's a very young and unexperienced team.
As long as no one's giving their plays away.
That you can jump on. Yeah, exactly. No one's giving their plays away. But if you can jump on them, especially with how late that is in the season, that's when you have the Dungey kind of injury question mark. But another player that I want to mention offensively that could help out the defense is the new running back that they have coming in out of high school, Markenzie Pierce. This is a kid that had 2,500 yards in high school, 31 touchdowns in high school, and they're kind of thinking that if he shows what he's supposed to this offseason, he can be the number 2 running back. And maybe this offense with Dungey, maybe start expanding those drives a little bit so the defense ain't on the field. The less your defense is on the field, the less they have to do. So that could be one kind of way you look at it from Syracuse, because I don't know if this defense can make enough strides to say, yeah, you know what, we're going to compete with the likes of Clemson, Louisville, and Florida State this year.
You know, I laugh a little bit when you're talking about the running back, that he'd be the number 2. I mean, you take a look at what they did last year. Again, they're very similar to Boston College, and their running game is they do a lot of running, they go nowhere. I mean, their leading running back, their leading rusher, Dante Strickland.
Again, the O-line wasn't healthy last year either.
And I totally get that, but I guess it's just the fact that, how many times did I know this is not nowhere near the same thing, but how many times has in the NFL a offensive line struggled for a good running back,
and the running back
still goes on his own? Adrian Peterson.
That's what I was gonna say.
Offensive line, they're no stud line, but you got a stud running back, and he's able to find the holes, make his own plays. And that's what you want to see from a running back in college, because then that's going to help get them to a good spot in the NFL. But I still think that, can they improve? Of course they can. But when you say you could see this guy coming in being the number 2, well, right now he could have a chance to be the number 1 if he shows off some really good talent.
Well, and another thing that I'm looking at is like, the run game. Of course, you need who you got to step up, and you need the new faces to come in. But, I mean, defensively, we talked injury for Dungy. Well, they had an injury on the defensive side as well as their number 1 cornerback in Antoine Cordy. He was injured week 2. And he was out the rest of the season. He's supposed to come back healthy from that forearm injury, and he's also joined by 3 new faces. And the 3 new faces that they mention are graduate transfer cornerbacks from Notre Dame in Butler, and then Jordan Martin from Toledo, as well as a junior college safety in McKetty Williams. And these are 3 guys, if they can add something to this team defensively, that secondary might need to carry this defense. Because like we talked about, Boston College was the team we talked about first. They had a strong front 7. This team might have to say, you know what, our secondary is where we're going to make our bread and butter on this defense, and we're just not going to let anyone throw over us. And if those 2 graduate transfers and the junior college transfers can just kind of not cooperate, that's not the word I'm looking for. The word is contribute to this team, then those 4 of NC State, Pitt, Wake Forest, and the last one that I'm blanking on, the lesser ones of that team, Boston College, then there's a better chance for that team to go 3-1 in those games, possibly get to that 6-win margin if they win those first 3. You got to avoid upset, though, against the Cupcakes to start your season.
Completely agree.
Any last thoughts on Syracuse before we move on? Anything we did not touch when it comes to the Syracuse Orange?
I think we got it.
Well, this is where we turn it on to you guys. Let us know down below what you guys think about the Syracuse Orange coming into this season. Let us know down below in the comment section.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed a lot of emotion. If you want more, click this video right over my left shoulder. You will certainly not regret it.